All right, hey Vikings fans, welcome in to another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer and talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, we do. And speaking of beer, we tried a new beer from a new brewery tonight.
Yeah, it was super good. We'll definitely get into all of that. We also chatted about the new GM that the Vikings hired, Nolan Teasley.
Yeah, and he seems like he'll be a good fit. Pretty excited about that. But we also had to talk quarterback.
Yeah, and we just keep finding ourselves in this cycle, and I'm kind of annoyed by it, honestly.
Yeah, well, don't worry. We also talked other stuff from OTA so far, so it's not all quarterback talk.
Yeah, it's just exciting that the guys are back out on the field and practicing, and it's always exciting to be here with a good beer, hanging out, talking about the Vikings. So wherever you are, grab a cold one and join us for episode 141 of the Skol Hop. Skol. Jeez, that was
Let's
terrible.
do it again. Skol.
All right, we're going to jump right into some beer tonight. I brought the beer, and this is a new brewery that we've never had before. I think it's a relatively new brewery in the state of Iowa.
Okay.
Of course, if you've been a longtime watcher of the show, you know that we only drink Iowa brewed beer right here on the show. Of course, we drink other beer at other times, but when we're sitting behind the desk right here, Iowa beer is what we like. And this comes out of Bremer Brewing Company, which Bremer is the county name for where Waverly, Iowa.
Okay. I was going to ask, how are you so confident? Because it's Bremer. I would have said, I did say Bremer.
It's Bremer.
Okay.
I lived up in that area, not in Bremer County, but I lived one county south in Blackhawk County.
There we go.
And I spent some time in Waverly, and I think that's where the brewery's located.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, our first ever Bremer Brewing Company beer, and this is called the BB Beer Bash. It's a double dry hopped hazy IPA, which is definitely
that's right in my wheelhouse.
So 6.2%,
mm-hmm.
and it does say that it's got sediment in it, and it recommends rolling the can. So we both did that a little bit, and
yeah.
I think we're ready to pour it up.
Yeah, I think it was last week when we had the Little Green Men. Is that what it was? The pistachio one?
Beer.
They had like a nice little, almost like poem, like a description of the beer. This one just says it's a beer you drink when you're drinking beer. So I like it. Both descriptions are valid. I can't wait to dive into this one. This one, double dry hopped ones are. They almost have a boozy taste to it.
Yeah, and it's really hoppy just from the smell.
Yep. I'm excited to give this one a try. I will say, too, the logo of the brewery here is pretty provocative. It's a man or a person with a hop for a head and just laying very comfortably.
You know what would be really funny is if we superimposed our Skol Hop logo on that. That'd be pretty funny, actually.
That would be really funny.
I don't know if Bremer Brewing Company would appreciate that. But
but...
And we'd have to change the color of the can because this is green.
This is green. Well, it's green, I would imagine, for the Citra hops that it says. But yeah, the color of this beer... Not the can, but the beer is really nice. It's like a nice, light, very hazy, but a bright color, really good head retention. And we both had, I wouldn't even say we both had super hard pours, but nice, good head retention. You are not seeing through this beer at all. Like, it's super hazy, but that's what you would expect. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready to dive in.
I'm still trying to pour it, but I'll wait and finish that later.
Right, Skol.
Skol. Oh, that was bad. We got to do that again.
Skol.
That was better.
Okay.
Yeah. It's good. Hoppy.
That's nice.
Very aromatic, florally.
Mm-hmm.
But good. And just a nice, easy drinking. It's not super boozy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
For a 6.2. So
yeah, usually double dry hopped, to me, I immediately think like boozy flavor, probably pretty good, but like if I hear the double dry hopped, it's like, oof, okay, we're drinking a beer. Like we're diving in. This one's really nice and mellow. Every flavor's good. Nothing really overtakes it all. I like it. Nice citrusy kind of flavor a little bit. It's really good. Yeah. I like it. Good job, guys.
It's a beer that you drink when you're drinking a beer.
I like it. That's perfect.
Plain and simple. Well, we've got some Vikings news to talk about. One very big development that we'll probably talk about first, and then OTAs started this last week. So there's obviously some stuff coming out about the happenings there, but we got to start with the newest Vikings news. What is that?
Well, so we're recording on Sunday this time. Usually it's Monday nights, but this week it's Sunday. And as of yesterday, early afternoon-ish, the Vikings, I guess, have they even announced the hire yet?
Yeah.
The team has announced the hire? Okay,
I think so.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
It became news that the Vikings hired a new GM, Nolan Teasley, the former assistant GM of the Seahawks. Been with the Seahawks for, I think I saw 13 years going on 14. And very highly touted person within league circles, apparently. Admittedly, Evan, I don't think I'm going to break any news here that you and I are not going to pretend that we've known of this guy for forever.
No.
And I probably heard his name for the first time ever yesterday when it was announced that he was hired, or recently when he was a part of the finalist group. But yeah, Vikings have a new GM. They've been running with the Brisness as the assistant GM since January, or when did Kwesi get fired?
Probably January,
February timeframe. And now they said after the draft they would really, the ownership said that they would really go full force and do a GM search. And it's been a couple of weeks since they officially said, all right, we're starting the first round of interviews, and now here we go, new GM.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty decent resume. He's been with Seattle for 13 years, and he's been in that assistant GM role for the last handful of years. I think 3 years he's been in that role. Heavily involved in helping their GM, John Schneider, with a lot of scouting work. So he's done some good stuff, and there's a reputation that precedes him, I guess. And you don't just win a Super Bowl by accident, right? And the front office has a lot to do with that. So even though he wasn't the head GM, he was still very much involved in things like bringing Sam Darnold to Seattle, which was a key component.
The Vikings should actually try to trade for Sam Darnold now. I think he might do really well on the team.
Boy, wouldn't that add just another interesting arm to the octopus that already is the quarterback controversy. But I don't know. I like the hire. Like you said, neither of us are going to pretend like we know too much about him. But given where he's coming from and the success that they've had in Seattle, his long-term tenure there, I think there's good reason to be excited in Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. So the things I've heard about him is that he has truly been a right-hand man to John Schneider in Seattle. Not to say he's been the secret real GM this whole time. That would be absurd to say. John Schneider is one of the best GMs in all of sports, and it's evident by how well set up the Seahawks are now, and obviously they were last year to win the Super Bowl. But Nolan Teasley, new Vikings GM, has apparently been right next to Schneider the last few years, in every step of the way, assisting and helping however much he can. I guess he's really, people have described him, I've heard it a lot now, as Teasley has been described as a football guy. Which, when the Wilfs made the decision to fire Kwesi, one thing I was thinking, and I heard a lot among people who talk about the Vikings, is, well, now they just failed the experiment with the Moneyball guy, the true analytical guy that just looks at numbers and makes roster decisions that way. Now you got to think they're going to swing the other way and go for a football guy, a guy that is really in the weeds with football and doesn't really care too much about analytics. And sounds like they got a football guy. But I've also heard Teasley is very much an analytical guy too. He but in the way of scouting, and he looks at numbers, but mostly like communicating and scouting and looking at the big picture while diving in at these individual players and roster decisions, but not just, hey, let me pull up PFF and this guy has the best grade, let's draft him. Not to say that that's what Kwesi was doing, but that's the running joke now, that like, Kwesi just looked at the numbers and made decisions that way. So it is nice to get a guy that seems like he's not going to just do that. It's a lot more about football.
And he played football. I'm just learning this as I'm Googling him. He played running back at Central Washington University in college. So he's got experience there, not pro experience, but he played, obviously, high school and college ball and understands the game. And so that is something that I think is important to have in the front office, is somebody who knows the game and isn't just crunching the numbers and trying to find the best value. Of course, you want to do that too. But it sounds like, and he's got a lot of experience, more than I thought. He's a 2-time Super Bowl winning staff member with the Seahawks. He was on staff when they won whatever Super Bowl that was, way back. 2013, when they beat the Broncos.
That would have been one of his first year 14, or two there.
Yeah. So, he was a scout for the team at that point. So he's seen a lot of development. He's seen a lot of up and down. He's seen some coaching change and worked with that probably. He's probably been in a lot of those meetings. So, I like the experience. I like the hire. I'm excited to learn more about him, and I don't know, hopefully Vikings Nation is kind to him and not super critical of him, because Kwesi, he had a honeymoon phase of maybe like a year, and then everybody just kind of dumped on him for the rest of his career. And I don't know. I didn't feel like that was fair. And we've sat here before and said, that's a tough job. We can sit here and armchair quarterback all night long. In fact, that's what we do every week when we sit here and drink beer and talk. But obviously we're not getting paid to do it. So
yeah, exactly. I was trying to look it up, but I can't find the exact tweet. But Dustin Baker tweeted sometime in the last weeks or months, basically saying like, just remember, we're just a few weeks away from the Vikings hiring a new GM, and then all of us liking the guy based off of what his boss did, So the Seahawks, we like this guy because the Seahawks, they did sign Sam Darnold and they've been drafting well, and shoot, they just won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, the truth is, unless you're, really in the league and you have a lot of knowledge of all of these guys and work with a lot of people, there's not much the fan at you and my level really should know about these front office guys from other teams. It'd be different if, it was one of those situations where like it was a widely known secret that John Snyder actually didn't do anything, but the whole league knows that Nolan Teasley was the one doing everything. That's obviously not the case. So all we can know is stats and look up what we hear about him in the days after he's hired. But one thing I do really like is, and this is it's gonna sound a lot like a shot against the Bears, and it kind of is, but it's not meaning to just crap on the Bears. But like a few years ago, when the Bears and Vikings were both looking for new GMs, and the Vikings ultimately hired Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the Bears hired Ryan Poles, who was a really high up person with the Chiefs organization. And of course, for the last decade or so, the Chiefs have been consistently at the top of the food chain in the NFL, and so it seemed like, hey, we're getting a new GM who has been a big name with the Chiefs, so the Bears are just going to turn into the next Chiefs. Well, I don't love that, because while the Chiefs have, they have been consistently at the top, you can point to two things for that. They have Andy Reid, who is a heck of a head coach, obviously one of the greatest head coaches the NFL has really ever seen, if you think about it, and I don't think that's too crazy to say. And they've had Pat Mahomes in his prime. And I mean, Pat Mahomes, whether you like him personally or not, on the field, one of the greatest quarterbacks to really ever play in our lifetime. And again, I don't think that's too crazy to say. But those two things being in tandem alone can make every other problem in an organization seem so much smaller. If the quarterback can make the sideways, backwards, closed eyes pass for a touchdown, it really sweeps over the fact that maybe the left tackle whiffed on the play. So if the quarterback and coach are doing their job, maybe the front office folks, their job isn't as hard as it could be. So all that to say, I like the idea of signing a guy from the most recent Super Bowl winning team when the Seahawks weren't considered. It's not like you can say, oh, they won the Super Bowl because of one player. The Seahawks were a really well-rounded team in 2025, and they will be for a while. They'll be a contender for a while now because every part of their team is like, dang, that's really good. Dang, that's really good. On top of, that they even had their starting running back out, and they still won the Super Bowl. So when you have such a well-rounded team without obvious superstars at a couple positions that really make it over the top, then you can look at the front office and say like, oh, they draft well. Oh, they planned well. Oh, they signed guys well. Oh, they traded for Rashid Rice. Isn't that Shaheed? In the middle of the season. So they make in-season moves well. Those are the kind of guys I want to come into my favorite organization to be like, oh, well, he has the experience to mold an entire team, not just get really lucky with one quarterback or one coach,
I like this quote of his. I've seen this in a few places now. He said, "I'm not arrogant enough to tell you that I'm better at watching football than you are, but I do have a process, and I think my superpower is the ability to take in information from a lot of different people that have different areas of expertise, then implement that and build a process off of that ultimately leads me to try and make sound decisions in a short period of time." And so that tells you that he's a process guy too. Mm-hmm. Like, not only is he a football guy, but he's a process guy, and he's not going to come in and he's not going to have this like, all right, here's the magic elixir to get us to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, nope, it's going to take time. We're going to draft well. We're going to make wise trades. We're going to restructure contracts where we need to, and we're going to build this roster into a contending roster, hopefully, is what I'm deducing from that quote.
Well, I also get out of that quote, he is saying, I do watch football, and I do understand what I see when I look at the field. So, like, again, we are fans in your basement. We're not, highly compensated football talkers. We don't have a ton of experience playing the game. But I do think you and I both, when we watch a football game, we see things and understand things just a little bit more than my wife does, who doesn't. She's not fan. She's a very casual fan. She just watches it because I watch it. But like, there's a lot of people who like a team, but they don't really know the difference between a zone defense and a man defense, and that's just barely scratching the surface of it. They would never think like, oh, that guard is pulling. What do you mean? What's a pulling guard? Like just little stuff like that. And you and I, we know a teensy bit more about it than the average fan. Nolan Teasley, who watches football, I would expect to be able to go into a defensive meeting with Brian Flores, sit in the back, and fully follow along with everything he's saying. I do not know Kwesi Adofo-Mensah personally. I've never met him, never will. I think he seems like a good dude. I kind of got the sense he was okay enough with understanding Brian Flores is a good coach, and he hits these measurables, and Dallas Turner is a good player, and he hits these measurables, and I can walk into the back of a room and not understand what Brian Flores is saying at all, but understand that process is going to, equal good things on the field. I may be way wrong. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah may be, like, insanely knowledgeable about the ins and outs of what happens on the field. But I do know Nolan Teasley, he seems that he does know what happens on the field and what equals a good football player. So that breathes a sigh of relief.
And I don't think he's going to have to do what like Carly Ursay has been doing with the Colts. She's been like on the sidelines with a earpiece in, listening to the plays being called, and almost kind of like I wouldn't go to the extreme of micromanaging, but she's hovering over the coaching staff and everybody else. And she's an owner. She's not the GM, I don't think. I wonder if there's a different person that does that for Indianapolis.
It should be known. I'll look that up really quick.
But she's definitely, especially since her dad passed away, she's definitely taken a way more hands-on approach, and one that we've never seen a woman take in the NFL. So, and I think that's why people have been so interested in it.
Yeah, Chris Ballard is the GM for the Colts, and I've definitely heard that name before.
But she's been quoted saying stuff like, I gotta hire and fire people, and I need to do so knowledgeably. I can't just fire people for no good reason. Or
hey, we lost a game, you're fired.
Right. Like, she's got to be able to point to specific things. And that's why she's, on the sidelines. She's probably at their OTAs. She's at training camp. She's out there on the field. And she stands out like a sore thumb.
I think it's bold enough, not to tangent off too much, but I think it's bold enough that when you're watching a noon football game in October, to see your favorite team's owner arms folded on the sideline with a headset on, just to be able to see that on TV, that's pretty bold. And that sends a message that maybe is intentional, maybe is unintentional, but that's also what the viewers see on TV. We don't know what's said in the meetings. We don't know other than what they say directly, because she did say something like, yeah, I'm charged with hiring and firing and leading this organization, and how am I going to do that if I don't have an understanding? Yeah. So I think there's a level of goodness to that.
I only bring that up to say, I don't think Nolan Teasley's going to go to that extreme. I think he can see enough from his box on game day or from watching film, during the week or whatever. He doesn't, and maybe he will. I don't know. Kwesi was rarely down on the sidelines during games. He was pre-game. Yeah. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. One other aspect that we haven't really talked about yet with this, and then we can move on. Rob Brzezinski is staying with the organization, even though he filled in that interim role, and he did interview for the
sounds like he wanted the job.
Head GM job. He didn't get it, obviously. He's staying with the organization. But there could be some staffing changes too, because sometimes when a GM comes in, kind of like a coach, they want to bring some people with them, people that they're familiar with, people that they know can continue to build culture and just do things to their standard. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are some staffing changes. Not Rob Brzezinski. I think he's probably safe, and I think he's been with the organization long enough. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some personnel changes in the front office. Minor things that wouldn't be we probably wouldn't even get pinged for those on a Twitter or something like that. It would just be oh, I didn't realize that so-and-so is now the assistant to the GM for scouting or whatever.
We would probably hear about high level guys, this guy's been with the Vikings for 8 years now and he's out. Or we would hear if there was wholesale, hey, 70% of the scouting department is being turned over. I haven't heard anything about that, but that's something that would come our way. If it's one guy lower level in the scouting department that gets swapped out or leaves or decides to move on or whatever, we probably wouldn't hear about that unless there was some scandal surrounding it, which again I don't really expect. It is interesting. I think most people, myself included, expected Rob Brzezinski to either get the GM job or get promoted to a role that Matt Ryan is serving with Atlanta, basically the final go-between between the owners and everybody else in the front office, executive president or something like that. But no, it seems like Brzezinski is going back to his executive vice president, managing the cap and whatever else he was doing there, and not getting a promotion. He may be getting
a
pay raise for this service that he's done, this offseason so far. But so yeah, it seems like he's going back into his role. You pulled up a fun graphic that I like too.
Yeah, Jason Harmon tweeted this, and he said, "The Vikings have already tried a triangle of authority leadership model, but may I introduce you to the Pentagon of power?" And we can maybe throw this up on the screen. Yeah. It is pretty funny. But you've got the Wilfs at the top of the Pentagon, and then you've got Nolan Teasley and Rob Brzezinski down one side, and you've got KOC and Brian Flores down the other side to complete the Pentagon of power. So that's pretty funny.
It will be interesting, and maybe we'll never know exactly how things go moving forward. But I feel like this offseason has been run by 3 decision makers: KOC, Rob Brzezinski, and it sounds like Flores has been a part of those decision making things as well. So I wonder if things, because of their experience in the last he just pulled up another graphic that puts that same Pentagon, but then JJ McCarthy on top of everything. Which
somebody asked, "Where is 9?" So we'll put that one in there too.
That one's funny. But yeah, I wonder if KOC, everybody that has been a part of the current pre-Nolan Teasley decision-making process the last few months for the Vikings, if that experience will kind of change how things go now that there is a GM. Maybe, who knows, in interview processes, they may have said like, "Hey, recently we found that we like when the coach has authority over this random thing. What are your thoughts on that continuing, even though a GM normally does that?" I can't really think of an example, but I don't know. Maybe it could turn into another version of that infamous triangle of authority that the Vikings had in, like 05, 06, like with Brad Childress. I don't even know who the guy who was the GM was.
Well, did Red McCombs still own the team at that point?
That was right when the Wilfs first bought the teams.
Okay, the Wilfs bought it. Would that have been Spielman then?
I think he was kind of a part of that as well. So yeah. Oh no. So it was Rick Spielman, Rob Brzezinski, and then Brad Childress, and then apparently later a little bit of Leslie Frazier too. That was the infamous triangle of authority. Spielman was general manager, player personnel stuff. Brzezinski, executive vice president, cap guru, and contract negotiator, which is kind of interesting. And then Brad Childress, who evaluated the team, and apparently, I think at the time, which was the most controversial thing, Childress, for at least a while, had full authority, final authority on player like cuts, like who made the final 53, which I don't know. I've never worked in a front office or with a football team enough to know, like, hey, maybe it isn't a good thing if the head coach makes the final say on the 53, or maybe it is a good thing. I don't know. I feel like the more you can get with any big decision-making organization, it is nice to have one person be the final, hey, this is on me, it's my decision, but also it's my consequences, if it doesn't work well. But it's also always good to have many minds in the room to contribute to decision-making, focused on the one person that's making the final decision. So we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how much knowledge and information we, the fans, get out of how they operate and how things work. Because some reporter is going to ask, like, okay, who has the final 53 decision-making? And the answer from Teasley is probably going to be the company line of like, well, we're still working all that stuff out, and we'll do the best to make the Vikings the best we can. It'll be something like that. What would make the news if in Teasley's opening press conference, which should be in the next few days, if somebody asks that, because they will, and if his answer was like, I have full authority. Like if it's just nope, it's me. That'll be newsworthy.
I think that's interesting too, because he's a younger GM. I think he's like in his early 40s and
42. I think he and KOC are the same age.
Yeah, so that'll create some interesting dynamics too in the workplace. All that to say, new GM, hopefully, better drafts.
Hopefully,
I would say on par with or better trades and cap management, that sort of thing, and hopefully a better on the field product.
I will say too, to kind of put my final thoughts on Kwesi out there, it didn't seem like Kwesi was afraid to make moves. Like I feel like Dustin Baker would always say, like, hey, Kwesi always trades his second-round pick for somebody at the deadline. I mean, we got TJ Hawkinson in the middle of the season. Like, we would see moves in the middle of the season. It's just, did they work out or not? And you could argue some of them did, some of them didn't. But, like, one thing you can't say about Kwesi is that he was afraid to make moves or do anything. It's just, how well did it work out? So, yeah, sometimes making moves in the middle of the season isn't a good idea, but sometimes you have to.
He would kind of wheel and deal, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and sometimes they had to. Like, I'm thinking the Pasternaut, they had to make that move.
Yep.
And for like 3.5 quarters, man, it was so fun and exciting.
It looked like a good move, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, I just went golfing with somebody yesterday, actually. Friend of the show, Forrest's friend and coworker, who is a Vikings fan. And we mentioned the Pasternaut, and just in talking, he was like, yeah, for like 3 games, that was really fun. I was like, dude, for like 3 quarters.
3 quarters.
That was really fun.
Yep.
Yeah, that was funny to look back on.
Can you take me higher? What a fun season. All right, well, we can maybe we can put a bow on that conversation for now. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about, especially when things are finalized. He's officially a Viking. I think you're right. You mentioned earlier, I don't think the team has officially announced him.
Yeah, we haven't seen that tweet, at least.
And it's not even on the website yet. Mm-hmm. So I think probably this week he'll be announced. He'll have his press conference, the whole thing. But yeah, let's move on to OTAs and this quarterback controversy, because we still have a quarterback controversy in Minnesota, and I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm tired of this.
No matter what.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Well, that's too dang bad. This quarterback talker is not going to go away.
I know.
Until one of these guys plays multiple games and plays them extremely well for multiple games in a row, this talker is not going away. And even then, it'll be, wait till he gets hurt. And that could be about either of these guys. But we're not going to stop talking about the quarterback situation. And you know what? That's kind of the fun part about football. It's the most important position in sports, and we got to get it right.
Well, I'm afraid that we're kind of in the loop that the Bears were in now. Like, I feel like we're in that like, okay, the quarterback doesn't work out, so then the coach gets fired, and then the coach didn't work out, so then the GM gets fired, and then that didn't work out, and then we move on from the quarterback that was drafted, and then we just keep going in this loop. Well, now we've got the quarterback and the coach that are staying, but we've got a new GM. So you wonder who's going to go, and is it going to be the quarterback? And obviously Nolan Teasley doesn't give 2 rips about his reputation and moving on from JJ McCarthy, if that's what needs to be done. Like, he's not the one who drafted him. He's not the one that moved all the way up to the 10th overall pick to get him. He's not the one that has put up with the injuries and all of that for the last 2 years. Like, he's just, all right, let me figure this out, and let's do what's best for the team.
That is kind of the refreshing part of a new GM, where it's like, hey, if JJ McCarthy doesn't work out now, it's not Nolan Teasley's fault. He's not losing his job because of that.
But also, I would say, because I read another thing today about Kyler Murray, like, let's say, because I think a lot of signs are pointing to this being the reality right now. Kyler Murray is probably the favorite to win the starting job at this point. I don't know. Did you see, who was it? Steve Smith Sr. on some talk show this week was like, anybody with a pulse is better than JJ McCarthy.
Which is wild. JJ McCarthy has thrown a touchdown pass in the NFL. He's better than 99% of anybody that could ever walk the earth.
I'll give him some credit for sure, but what we've seen so far has been very rough. And if he's going to be a legitimate long-term starter in the NFL, he's going to have to get some stuff figured out. But I think it's fair to say right now that Kyler Murray is the proverbial week 1 starter. But the tweet that I saw today basically said, like, all Kyler Murray needs to do is have one standout season, and he's basically going to get the Sam Darnold package. Like, he could completely revive his career. He could move on. He's only on a 1-year contract with Minnesota, so he could move on and just explode somewhere else. And we could see the exact same thing happen that we've seen happen forever with Vikings teams. These quarterbacks come to us, they're okay, and then they leave and they do amazing things, like win freaking Super Bowls. So
I mean, we've seen Sam Darnold do that. I can't really think off the top of my head who else has done that.
Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, but that was,
I feel like didn't Rich Gannon win a Super Bowl with the Raiders?
Was that pre or post Vikings?
Post, I'm pretty sure.
But I mean, you're talking 2 examples from 30 years ago.
True, but
20, 30 years ago. So to say it always happens. Like, that's just it's the jaded Vikings fan in you, which I am also a jaded Vikings fan.
But I, all of that to say, I'm worried that we're stuck in this trap, and I'm hoping Teasley can get us out of that trap. Yep. That's kind of the optimism in me. But yeah, we continue to find ourselves in this weird quarterback battle.
Yeah.
And there are 3 proverbial starters, potential starters, not proverbial.
There's 2. If you're going to say Carson Wentz is a potential starter, that's
he
blow
started
everything up. If Carson Wentz wins the job,
he started last year.
He started out of injury. Like, he would not have started when he did if not for J.J. McCarthy being injured.
I think you could also argue that he played better than J.J. McCarthy in the games he played.
Yeah, but also I think there's a chance J.J. was injured most of the year last year. He definitely had a hand injury that really hindered him. Don't forget, J.J. McCarthy, the last 5 games of the season, he missed one of them, the Lions game on Christmas. Outside of that, 1.5 because he took himself out in the second half of the Packer game. But outside of those 2 things, he played well in the last 5 games of the season. And you can't say that about Kyler Murray because he only played 5 games last season. If Kyler Murray wins this job, I will be excited and I will be rooting for him. And I'm not going to root for whoever plays for my team to fail because that's super upsetting. And I'm not that jaded. I want the Vikings to win. I don't care who's playing. But I really think it shouldn't be this automatic Kyler right now is the starter and there's no question about it. Like, laugh at anybody else who has any other opinion. Anybody with a pulse, that's saying you or I, it could be a better starter for the Vikings than J.J. McCarthy, which is wild. That's saying Steve Smith Jr., Senior, whatever he is, that's saying he would be a better starter at quarterback for the Vikings, which is wild. It gets clicks, and for the people that like Steve Smith, that's fun. But like, that guy's a moron.
He's definitely got a loud mouth for sure. Yeah. I like him. I think he's funny, but I'm definitely on the opposite.
The guy who Steve Smith cheated his wife on with probably doesn't like him very much.
Well, we won't get into personal matters. As a football player, I like him. I think he's a funny guy.
Okay.
But I'm definitely on the opposite side of this argument than you are right now.
I'm JJ for life right now. Let's go.
And I am move on from him. Like, and again, that's kind of why I brought up the Nolan Teasley stuff. Like, he doesn't care. Mm-hmm. And so he could walk in and just cut him tomorrow as soon as the job is officially his and he's under contract with the Vikings.
I mean, that would be insane.
That would be crazy. And I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But, I mean, he could, and you mentioned it earlier. Somebody's going to have to kind of claim ownership over the 53 man. Who is it? Is it Teasley? Is it KOC? Is it this triangle of power? Is it this pentagon of power? Like, whose is it? And I don't know. If I were involved in that, if I were a part of that pentagon of power, I'd probably be advocating for, hey, let's move on. He hasn't shown us much. He's young. He's cheap. We haven't paid a lot of money. Yeah, we gave up a lot in draft picks and stuff, but let's move. We need to turn a new page, and let's see what we can get for him and bring in somebody else.
Yeah, to move on from a guy who's played 10 games and looked decent in at least half of them, that's wild. After drafting him in the 10th overall pick. All right, All right, we will argue about this. I love that we don't agree about that.
So
because so many times we're like, yeah, Evan, you're right. No, yeah, Austin, you're right. Like, no, we will fight about this, and I'm looking forward to these arguments.
So let's take this a step further. let's go deeper into this argument.
All right.
So, in your opinion, you've seen enough from J.J. McCarthy to keep him?
Keep him, absolutely. Now, I'm not saying right now, May 31st, he's the unquestioned QB1. I'm saying it's insane to say either of them are without a doubt QB1. If you have to throw out a depth chart right now and Kyler Murray's at the top of your depth chart right now, sure, that's fine. But just the exercise we did last week where we're like, how many unquestioned starters are there right now on the roster? Because there's some. Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 1, no questions asked. Quarterback doesn't have an unquestioned starter right now. So that's all I'm saying. And I'm saying you don't give up on a guy with so much potential after he's most recently shown you a lot of good just because, Kwesi bad. And
well, I would say he's shown equally amounts of bad as he's shown good. I think right now with J.J. McCarthy, it's a very 50-50 game because you could point to like, oh, well, the Bears game in the early part of the season, whatever that was, week 1 or week 2 last year, like, man, he looked good, and he had a couple other good games.
Well, I'm even looking at the final game of the year, the Packer game. Yes, he took himself out, and that sucks. That doesn't look good. But it sounds like he had a broken hand when he took himself out. So if that's true.
But I think that also maybe tells you that he wasn't being completely honest with...
Well, as a player, there's only so much... Like, if a player ever came out and said, I have this injury, coaches are going to rip them apart. Like, why would you tell the media that?
No,
like, that's
I'm not saying with the media. I'm saying with his coaches and with the training staff and stuff. Like, you got to be honest with your body and yourself as a player in a league where you're getting... especially in the quarterback position, you're getting ripped to shreds on a daily basis. So like you have to communicate that. And I don't know. I don't know what those conversations were like with KOC. I don't know what those conversations were like with Kwesi, but I don't know. I can definitely tell you that if JJ McCarthy's going to stay on the Vikings, he's got a ton of growing up to do, a ton of maturing to do. And I think bringing in Kyler Murray has maybe exposed more of his flaws than it's exposed his strengths.
I'm totally okay. I really like that they brought a starter level player in to compete. The people that are saying, oh, it's not a competition and there's no question, that's where it's like, they're not handing a guy a job when he's never even touched the field with a Vikings helmet on yet. They're going to have a competition. I'm just looking at JJ's stats for the last, from week 12 on, and it doesn't scream to me a guy that's cut him now. You know what I mean? Like, this is a guy who, played all right in what was essentially his rookie year, and especially when he might have been injured. So all I'm saying is to tattoo in Kyler Murray as the starter right now is short-sighted, and it may happen. He might win the job. He's probably the better quarterback. I'm okay with those things being true, but I also like J.J. McCarthy. He's shown a little bit. I've seen him make some throws that are like, wow, okay. The Packer game alone, he had 2 or 3 throws where it's like, whew, all right, there we go, J.J.
And we were in the building for that.
And so that's enough. It wasn't like it was a Max Brosmer 49-yard affair on Christmas Day against the Lions. Like, JJ actually has shown that he is worth being on a roster and getting a start if needed, and he could be QB1. But I think May and June is way too early to say. Absolutely not. Before any competition has happened.
I think we would get more clicks and more views and more likes if you were just Team JJ and I was Team Kyler all the way. Like, that would be more fun. Oh, boy. He just left the desk, folks. What is he doing? I don't know what he's up to. Did you make a shirt? Oh, you brought your jersey. Team JJ. Well, that means I got to buy a Kyler jersey now. Dang it.
Hey, you can get a ton of Arizona Cardinals Kyler jerseys. I think you can get one for less than $10 on eBay. Wow. They're everywhere because they cut them. I'm Team JJ. Let's go. And I'm okay with being wrong, but for now, let's be Team JJ. This has just been in my bag since
last time,
3 weeks ago when I wore it. So, you know what? I'll wear this. This is my Skol Hop uniform now.
This is like what was that stupid movie about vampires that came out when we were in college? I think. And you were either Team Edward or Team whatever.
The Twilight series.
Yeah, this is like that, but for middle-aged men that are football fans.
It's as lame as the Twilight series was too, so come at me. But yeah, Team JJ, let's go. I'll get it tattooed.
And I'll be fair. I'm not necessarily Team Kyler. You gave some really company line, team-friendly. If Kyler's the week one starter, I'll be happy with it.
I really will. I'm not going to sit here and throw a fit.
And I think both of us come from it from that perspective. We want the best product on the field, and we want the best players to play, and we want the Vikings to win games is ultimately what we want. And we want them to win a dang Super Bowl, for Pete's sake. Like, come on. We've been waiting our entire lives for that. Even just to get there. They haven't done that since the 70s. So I think both of us are on the same page there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm definitely on the opposite side, and maybe I will have to get a Kyler jersey because I think it's like 99-1 odds. I don't know anything about betting odds.
You're saying it basically done deal. He's the starter. I as of right now, that's way too. That's crazy for me right now.
So, what number has J.J. McCarthy worn? 9. What number does Kyler wear?
1. Yeah.
99.
So JJ's 99-1.
No,
to get the
it's
job.
99-1 odds. Kyler's gonna do it.
Ev, if you have an extra $150 laying around, you can get yourself
a Vikings Kyler jersey.
A Vikings Kyler jersey, brand new.
All right. I'm going to wait on that. I'm not on that. I'm not that much on the bandwagon. If it were 100-1 odds, maybe.
Maybe you could get a Jalen Naylor.
I would wear an 83 Naylor jersey.
Well, he wore number 1.
Last year.
We can figure it out. Someone out there. Maybe someone out there can give you a Kyler Murray jersey. But I did want to touch on these quotes. That both quarterbacks gave after an OTA practice a handful of days ago. Maybe we should start with the Kyler Murray quote. He said, somebody asked him, how's your relationship with JJ been going? He said, it's been great. Obviously, he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him. I feel like I played 7 years going on 8. I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Giving him any knowledge he needs. Basically, company line. He said this stuff like that you'd expect to hear from a guy who's been in the league pushing a decade, 7-8 years. And so he just talked to reporters and gave company lines and said, oh, yeah, everything's good here. And, just working in. He answered a few questions about, like, what it's like getting into the offense and learning the new offense and just saying, yeah, learning every day. Again, company line, he's talked to media a ton, and it showed. So that's all you can really expect. But JJ said some other things.
Yeah, and when you watch JJ as he says these things, you can just see, like, in part of me appreciates this because I think this is the competitor in him. Mm-hmm. It's the, like, I'm gonna battle. I'm gonna go out there and do whatever I can. But also, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's the little kid on the playground who's been pushed around and he's sick and tired of it, and he's just gonna stand up to the bully, whatever. Mm-hmm. But JJ said, it's just like two guys in a classroom. He sits on one side and I sit on the other side. It's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. Yeah. And that's a really vague statement, and I think what he's saying maybe there, if I had to unpack that, is like, we don't interact a whole lot when we're, like, in a film room or whatever, when we're in the quarterback room and it's just us and KOC and Josh McCown and whoever else is in the room. Like, he sits over there, I sit over here, we listen to whatever they're telling us. We don't intermingle, and it's way early,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Like they've been working together for all of like a month at this point.
They've been on the same team for, all of a month or so. So who knows how much they've actually practiced in the same area together, if maybe it's just been the OTAs last week. So, I mean, I don't know why they would have had any reason to get together and throw together or anything like that. Maybe they have. I haven't heard about it. But, yeah, it's still really early. And I think Kyler Murray came here. I did see an article. It might have been Vikings territory, but it might not have been. And maybe I could look and try to find the link so we can put it in the description here. But the article basically stated the different mindsets of J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray right now. And honestly, the way I'm remembering it, it could be a series of tweets and not even an article. But whoever said it basically said, like, Kyler Murray, he's here to do a Sam Darnold thing, to come here on the cheap from the Vikings. He's still getting paid upwards of $30 plus, $40 plus million this year to play football, which good for him, absolutely. But the Vikings are paying him 1.3. He is here. This 2026 for Kyler Murray is a chance to reset, show he can still play at a high level, and then boom, get that next $200 million or whatever contract. And whether that's with the Vikings, whether that's with whoever else after this season, that's his goal, is to show I'm still a starter. I'm still one of the top. There's a reason the Cardinals drafted me first overall a handful of years ago, and this is why you should pay me $50 plus a year for the next 5 or so years. J.J. McCarthy's mindset right now is I'm beating out Kyler Murray. I'm fighting for the Vikings QB1 job. So their goals for right now are different. Not to say Kyler's definitely going to win, because his mindset is way higher and way broader, whereas JJ's just fighting for his roster spot. No, I think either of them could still win the job, but their outlooks for 2026 and beyond for themselves look way different. And not that that's a bad thing, but I think that's kind of showing in the way that they answered questions the other day to the media. Kyler was very comfortable with the media. Not that JJ was uncomfortable, but Kyler was just company line. It's just one of many press conferences he's given. Just answer the way that isn't going to be headline news or anything. JJ McCarthy, his answers were, I'm in a competition right now, and yeah, we're both guys in a classroom, and it's coach's job to teach us, and I'm just doing what I can to be the best I can. And somebody asked him, like, what do you think about the Vikings signing Kyler? And he was like, well, it was a decision the team felt they needed to make, and they made that decision. Like, okay. It wasn't, yeah, I love having him here, he's going to teach me so much. It was, team did this, and that's on the team.
He's trying to keep his competitive edge.
Yeah.
But I also think there's a little bit of like immaturity to that too. I do. I think I understand where he's coming from, and I know that he's competing for the job, but I don't know. I think the NFL is as much political as it is
in some
athletic.
In some ways, but I think no matter what, the best guy's going to play, because so many lives are on the line on wins and losses that they can't really afford to say, like, well, we should start Kyler, so we're gonna. It's going to be, oh, Kyler's better, so he's starting, or
right.
whatever else,
And I get it from JJ's perspective, too, that, like, well, I'm in a competition, and I'm not going to show any signs of weakness. I'm just going to go out there and do my best and whatnot. But, like, I don't know. I think he's got to figure out how to talk to the media, and how, because I think what he's showing is he's really hot and cold. Because some days JJ is the company line, like, oh yeah, just everything for the team. It's all about the team. And then other times it's, oh, I've got this other persona. It's called 9, and no, this new guy, who's that guy? I don't even know. He sits on the other side of the room. I don't even know him. Like. We get these weird kind of back and forth. It's almost like he's bipolar. And I think he's got to grow into the role of being an NFL quarterback.
Sure. But I'd much rather I do not care what people say in a sideline press conference. I don't, unless it's like about something that doesn't do with football and they're like promoting their charity and it's like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I do not care.
But I would push back on that a little bit, because both you and I have said, and we've praised Justin Jefferson for every single thing that he said. He's never once wavered.
You're right. I shouldn't say I do not care. It'd be different if they were actually throwing hissy fits and saying like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I'd care about that. But if you're like, I'm just working hard, like, okay, good job. Like, okay.
But I think if you read between the lines, it's not just JJ saying I'm working hard. I think it's like, I think he's saying I know I'm the underdog, and I think he's saying with maybe a little bit of overconfidence, a little bit of pride. He's saying, I'm going to win the job. I mean,
he's in a competition. He's answering questions in a way that a 23-year-old kid would answer if he has got his head down and he's trying to be pissed off and win a competition. He's not saying things like, well, it's not about the money, it's about what the money represents. You know, it's like, okay, why are you even talking to the media at this point? But
Can we just go back to the days when it was like Randy Moss and straight cash, homie, stuff like that? Because those are the good old days.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get some more. We'll definitely get some more quotes. They will both talk to the media some more before this whole competition is all said and done. And let's face it, we're talking about J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray. Whoever wins the QB1 job is going to get injured and miss time. So we're going to see them both start games this year. I think both of them will start more than 3 games each this year. That's my bold take. Just because injury, like, it's going to happen. So whoever's better or worse, or who should be, considered QB1 or not, they're both going to start, and they're both going to get their chances to, on the field in games that matter, show why they should be the starter.
You know what we should do? This is a on-air production.
Let's go. I love when you bring these up. Let's go.
You know what we should do? We should make some parlay bets, so to speak, like what you just presented. Like you said, I bet that both quarterbacks will start more than 3 games this season. Let's put that on our pick'em.
All right.
And let's make that a purple punishment. Like, postseason, everything's done. The Vikings have finished playing their last game, hopefully in the Super Bowl. We have a handful of these bets that we've made.
Yeah, I like it.
In addition to picking the games.
I like it.
And we put those on the wheel.
Well, the wheel, or since there's something that we can plan out a little bit longer, we can have the punishment be basically even a whole episode, or at least a segment of the episode where we can plan it out. We've joked about doing like a beer mile before. If we know, because purple punishments, we just have a list of stuff and we kind of pre-plan for everything, and we don't know what we're doing until, oh crap, I guess I'm eating something spicy in 2 seconds, but if we know, like, crap, I lost this bet, so in 5 days I got to do the beer mile. Like, we can plan that stuff out and then film it a little bit better. But they don't have to be just those quick fun little pokey punishments that we have, which I love for the purple punishments. But they can really be like a superlative, like, I don't know. We can come up with a better name, but yeah, those parlay punishments.
There we go, parlay punishments. Purple parlay punishments.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll figure something out. But I think we should do that. Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
I like that.
And it would add another layer of excitement to our purple punishments.
Yeah.
You brought in a little tweet here from Alec Lewis, just with some other OTAs stuff. Obviously, the quarterback conversation has, like, kind of dominated everything other than the Vikings hiring a new GM. But there is some other news. Christian Darrisaw was there. He was active. He was looking good. So that's exciting news for Vikings fans, that the left side of the line is looking good, and he's hopefully going to play every game. The offensive line workouts looked much more intense, according to Alec Lewis, which I think is also a good thing.
We also have a new offensive line coach too, so that might be part of it.
Yep. And I also heard that Blake Brandel is pretty much a given at center. I really don't think there's going to be much of a competition there. So,
well, that's one thing Alec said at the bottom of the tweet. He said Brandel took first team center reps. So, yeah.
So that's looking like it's locked in. All the defensive starters were there except for Blake Cashman, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that also includes Harrison Smith.
He's not on the team right now.
I know, but there's been rumors swirling that he's coming back.
Yeah, but I would expect he's not. He wouldn't have been at OTAs. Can you imagine? We would have seen pictures and tweets, and people would have been blowing up about that. We have heard from people we trust, not anything I would say per sources, but we have heard like, hey, sounds like Harry's coming back. And I asked that person, like, because I was told that before the news of Nolan Teasley came out. And I asked that person, like, hey, does the Teasley news change anything with Smith? And that person said no. So still, at this point, I'm expecting soon, because those were the words we were told, was like announcement could be soon. And soon could be tomorrow, or soon could be, this month. But I would expect before July hits, we will be celebrating an official announcement of Harrison Smith coming back. But anyways, not to diverge from this tweet.
All the other defensive starters were there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's good news. And if Blake Cashman isn't there, I don't know that that's a huge deal. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think they're not required to show up for OTAs,
I don't remember.
Right?
I think organized team activities are still not mandatory at this point.
So, yeah, if there's a handful of players not there, it's not a big deal. And, maybe he's recovering from something, or maybe he's...
Yeah, it looks like OTAs are still pretty generally voluntary. So, that's fine.
Here's good news for Vikings fans. Jordan Addison was there, and he looked really good. And it's good news for multiple reasons. Number one, not only is he looking good on the football field, but he's not falling asleep drunk behind the wheel of a car at 2 a.m.
It is still
Miami. May. You're right. But that is good news that he's there, and I hope Justin Jefferson just handcuffs himself to that kid and says, you're staying with me and you're not going anywhere, and we're going to just stay up late playing video games. Maybe Kyler can come over and play Call of Duty.
No, we don't want Kyler to play any Call of Duty. Take away his PS5 controller. All right, if you want any hope of Kyler Murray being good, we need him not to be playing video games right now.
That's how they bond. Okay, that's how those two receivers are going to bond with their future quarterback one.
They're already bonded. They and JJ are already good.
You're right. But anyways, Jordan Addison was there. He looked really good, and that's an encouraging sign too. Like, he had a couple of splashy plays that I saw on social media. So exciting. Obviously, it's way, way, way too early to tell anything.
Oh, yeah.
There's still a lot of moving parts. Your new GM hasn't even been officially introduced yet. You have no idea who the quarterback is going to be at this point. And it's May, like you said. Tomorrow's June, so it's basically June.
By the time we get this out, it'll be June for sure. I'm looking for a tweet with a video just to be able to credit whoever posted it, but I can't. I'm not finding it too easily. Maybe by the time we get this posted, I will. But the tweet was basically like, man, Jordan Addison and Jets are just so different. And it was a quick, maybe 30-second video of each, like a handful of receivers doing a quick, out route in practice. And it was just one receiver after the other doing this route. And they would run up probably 10 yards or so, and then kind of stutter step, go out to the left, and then catch the ball. And each receiver is like, okay, fine, they're doing some practice. But then Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson were the last two to do the drill. And they looked like robots in a great way. They were the fastest to get up to that 10 yards, fastest to do their awesome stutter step. They caught the ball, quick little stutter steps after they caught the ball on the sideline. And it's like, wow. In just one short video, you can see guys be different and be better. And yeah, it was just a fun thing to see. And another thing, like, oh, there is a separation difference, like even between Jawan Jennings doing it right before Jordan Addison does, and then Jordan Addison, it's just so buttery smooth, and like, oh yeah, these guys are professional athletes, and they can do things other people just can't, and they can do things other NFL wide receivers just can't. So it's a small example. Hopefully I'll be able to find that little video before we get things posted.
All right, well, let's tie a bow on things here.
Yeah.
What did you think of this beer?
I liked it a lot, man. This is a really easy drinker. I mean, even for me, sometimes a double dry hopped IPA, it can be a lot. It can be like you're not going to throw down a bunch of them because it's just a heavy flavor, and you can get that flavor fatigue. And with this, like, it's such a balanced beer. I almost don't believe it's 6.2.
Maybe that's what the BB stands for. Balanced beer. not Bremer Brewing. You're probably right. It's probably that.
But yeah, it's super good. I could also definitely understand if somebody's not an IPA person, they definitely wouldn't like this, because this is an IPA.
Yep.
It's an IPA's IPA. It's nice. It's hazy. I think of this as a summer beer, nice citrusy. Sun's going down on a nice hot summer day. You're throwing a few of these back. It's refreshing. That nice hazy IPA. I like it a lot. It's the first time I've had it, and it's definitely not the last. Did you get it at our favorite?
I did.
Devil's Glen
and
Ivy?
Shout out to a friend of the show, Jim.
Yeah.
He sold it to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have a good little conversation with him?
Yeah.
It's always a good time. I walk in, I see him. Hey man, how's it going? Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah, good guy. And he hooks us up with the beer.
Yeah.
So, good stuff.
What are your thoughts? I gave a lot of my thoughts on this.
I like it. And I'm always down to try a new brewery in Iowa. And this was a good one to try. One that is kind of close to where we went to college.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I would love to get up there and visit this place in person. I've never been there. Like I said, I think it's relatively new. So, I've never been there. But yeah, the beer itself, really good. It's very easy to drink. It's a hoppy IPA, so if that's not your thing, then you're not going to like it. But I like hoppy IPAs, and I don't know, I like this one. And you know me, I like a beer that doesn't really try to do too much, and this one doesn't do too much. It doesn't it's not like got 18 other flavors that it's trying to do. They didn't throw a bunch of fruit or a bunch of other stuff in it. It's just a hoppy IPA.
Absolutely.
And it's good. And I like the double dry hopped. It's got a clean finish to it. It's it goes down easy. And yeah, like you said, hot summer night, I could throw down a few of these and feel really good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really like it. I'm glad you got it. Thank you for bringing it.
Yeah. Where can people find us?
If you're looking for us, if you think I'm crazy for being Team JJ, or if you're with me.
You are crazy.
Probably the easiest way to actually get a hold of us is Twitter, at the Skol Hop. But we're also on every other social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, pretty much all the ones that matter. We're out there. We do have an email address, and I think we still have a couple stickers. So if you send us an email and maybe your opinions on our opinions from this episode, if you want, we'll read off your opinions and react to it during the episode. But we'll also, if you want, send you a free sticker too if you give us an address to send it to. So that email is theskolhop@gmail.com. So reach out, and no matter how you reach out, there's a pretty good chance we'll respond in some way. As long as you're not a jerk, because we won't be a jerk to you. So, yeah. Other than that, we have a website and some merch if you're really looking for it on tpublic.com. But best thing you can do is reach out, comment, like, subscribe, wherever you're watching. YouTube. I didn't mention YouTube. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube right now. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, really good beer. I thought we had some really interesting conversations,
Yeah,
even though we disagreed.
I'm taking notes. I'm going to shove this all in your face when J.J. McCarthy wins the job and throws for 4,000 yards.
I can't wait for it.
Touchdowns.
I will eat whatever spicy thing I have to if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks. He's going to eat scorpion pepper.
Oh, gosh. That would destroy me.
Definitely a ghost pepper. We'll get that going.
I would die.
Eventually. It might slowly get you.
Well, all that to say, good talks, good beer. Maybe best episode yet.
Maybe.
Skol.